Book summary of World War I for teens. Major battles of World War I, turning points, and real-life war stories by Nick Weaver. Nick Weaver's World War I for Teens is an engaging and accessible historical account tailored for younger readers. The book provides comprehensive overview of World War I, covering its causes, major battles, key turning points, and personal war stories. Through mix of factual analysis and real-life narratives, brings history to life, making it both informative and relatable for teenage audiences. Introduction. Setting the stage for war, the book begins by examining the complex web of political alliances, imperial ambitions, and nationalist movements that set the stage for World War I. Weaver explains how tensions among European powers, particularly between Germany, Austria-Hungary, Britain, France, and Russia, escalated over time. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914, presented as the catalyst that triggered the war. The book explores how this single event spiraled into a full-scale global conflict with nations declaring war in rapid succession. The outbreak and early battles. Weaver details the initial phases of the war, focusing on the Schlieffen Plan, Germany's strategy to quickly defeat France before turning eastward to fight Russia. The failure of this plan led to the prolonged and grueling trench warfare that defined the Western Front. The author describes the early battles, including the First Battle at the Marne 1914, critical early battle that halted the German advance into France and resulted in strategic victory for the Allies, the Race to the Sea, series of battles in which both sides attempted to outflank each other, leading to the establishment of static front line across Belgium and France. Trench warfare and life on the front lines. One of the most compelling sections of the book is its vivid depiction of trench warfare. Weaver describes the harsh conditions soldiers faced, from mud-filled trenches to constant artillery bombardments. The book provides insights into the psychological toll on soldiers, including the impact of shell shock, the use of poison gas and its devastating effects, the role of new military technologies, including tanks, guns, and flamethrowers. Weaver also highlights the daily routines of soldiers, the camaraderie among them, and the letters they wrote home, offering a deeply personal perspective on the war's human cost. Major battles and turning points. The book explores several pivotal battles that shaped the course of the war. The Battle of Verdun 1916, one of the longest and bloodiest battles of the war, lasting nearly a year. Weaver details the relentless German attacks and the French determination to hold the line. The Battle of the Somme 1916, known for its staggering casualties, this battle saw the first major use of tanks in combat. The book explores how the battle, despite its heavy losses, weakened the German forces. The Battle of Passchendaele 1917, a battle marked by horrendous mud and rain, making movement nearly impossible. Weaver illustrates the challenges faced by soldiers and the limited strategic gains achieved. The Second Battle of Ypres 1915, the first large-scale use of chemical warfare, introducing a new and terrifying element to combat. The book emphasizes how these battles contributed to the gradual weakening of Germany, its allies, setting the stage for the war's eventual end. The Eastern Front and global impact. While much of the book focuses on the Western Front, Weaver also discusses the Eastern Front, where battles between Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia played a crucial role. Key events include the Brusilov Offensive 1916, a major Russian attack that severely weakened Austria-Hungary, the Russian Revolution 1917, the overthrow of the Russian government, and the subsequent withdrawal of Russia from which allowed Germany to shift its focus to the Western Front. Beyond Europe, the book touches on the war's global reach, including campaigns in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Weaver highlights how World War I shaped the world, leading to the collapse of empires and the redrawing of borders. The role of women in the home front. Weaver dedicates a chapter to the significant contributions of women during the war. With millions of men fighting on the front lines, women took on essential roles, including working in munitions factories and other war industries, serving as nurses and medical personnel often near the front lines, participating in volunteer organizations to support soldiers and refugees. The book explains how the war accelerated social change, leading to greater demands for women's rights, including the right to vote in many countries after the war. The United States enters the war. A turning point in the war came in 1917 when the United States joined the conflict. Weaver explores the reasons behind the U.S. entry, including Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare, which led to the sinking of American ships, the Zimmermann telegram, in which Germany tried to persuade Mexico to join the war against the U.S. President Woodrow Wilson's vision of making the world safe for democracy. The arrival of fresh American troops and resources helped shift the balance in favor of the Allies, leading to a series of decisive victories. The end of the war and its aftermath. The final chapters of the book cover the war's conclusion, The Hundred Days Offensive 1918, series of Allied attacks that broke through German defenses and forced retreat, Germany's surrender. Facing economic collapse and internal unrest, Germany signed an armistice on November 11, 1918, the Treaty of Versailles 1919. Weaver explains the harsh terms imposed on Germany include territorial losses, military restrictions, and reparations. He discusses how these terms contributed to tensions that would later lead to world Ehrman. Personal war stories. Throughout the book, Weaver interweaves personal narratives of soldiers, nurses, and civilians who experienced the war firsthand. These stories add a human element to the historical events, making the impact of the war more tangible for young readers. Some featured accounts include a young soldier's diary entries describing life in the trenches, nurses' experiences treating wounded soldiers on the front lines, civilians' account of bombings and food shortages. Conclusion. Lessons from World War I. In the final chapter, Weaver reflects on the war's legacy. He discusses its lasting impact on international relations, military strategy, and social change. The book concludes with a call for young readers to learn from history, emphasizing the importance of diplomacy and peacekeeping efforts to prevent future conflicts. Final thoughts. World War I for Teens is an insightful and well-researched book that makes historical events accessible to younger audiences. Through a balanced mix of factual analysis and human stories, Nick Weaver successfully brings the Great War to life. This book serves as an excellent educational resource for students and anyone interested in understanding one of the most significant conflicts of the 20th century.